let's discuss some of the intricacies of the reconstruction with Oguz Cem Celik. He's a professor at the Faculty of Architecture at Istanbul Technical University, speaking to us from Istanbul. Professor, it's good to have you on this news hour. Firstly, I'd like to start with taking a look at the 11 provinces that were affected. Turkey, of course, a country that is prone to earthquake. That particular part of the country has experienced this before. But the scale of the devastation that we saw, why were some homes and buildings more susceptible to either completely collapsing or being partially damaged compared to others in that region?
Well, thank you for having me. So I would say that this is, as discussed previously by others, that was the second largest earthquake probably in Turkey since 1939 Erzincan earthquake. So plus we had two very devastating earthquakes on the same day. That is one reason why we had that much damage or partial or total collapsed buildings in the area. So I would say that it is very hard with the conventional methods. If your building inventory is depending on some conventional reinforced concrete buildings, most of them actually substandard buildings. I mean, they are not complying the current codes, so they suffered a lot, I would say. Mm-hmm. So most of them collapsed, damaged, and also we had some problems in historic buildings that basically they are masonry constructions, but these two earthquakes were too big for those buildings.
And there have been thousands of homes that have been rebuilt in the past year. How are those structures built now to prevent earthquake damage and make them stronger? What new technologies are being used by Turkey?
Great question. I would say that the government knows how to build very stronger buildings in the area. So we call them tunnel form buildings. They are basically, I mean, in a regular building, we have some structural wall, we have some architectural wall. Architectural walls do not contribute to the strength of the building. But in today's technology that the government is using, AFAD is using nowadays, all walls are structural. That means they are able to carry additional earthquake forces. So they are very strong. I mean, one of the best systems, conventional systems. But what I would like to add that we should be looking for some new other technologies as well. This is, the construction speed in this system, because we're pouring concrete on the construction side and we need at least 28 days to harden the concrete. So we should be looking forward to some probably prefabricated system that in most cases it is possible to build safer and very fast large number of buildings.
Are there concerns that some of these structures have come up too quickly? If you talk about the concrete having enough time to harden, in a year you've had thousands of buildings come up. Do you think people will be afraid that it's all just happened too quickly?
No, I don't think, I mean, everything is going on very well nowadays, because it's very hard to build thousands of buildings. Lastly, I heard that 15,000 residents will be constructed per month. So this is a lot of buildings, actually. But what I would like to emphasize that these are okay, but we should be looking for some other alternatives. I mean, in order to expedite the construction process in the area. Okay?
What about other areas in Turkey? Many people in a big city like Istanbul are concerned about when the big one, as so many people call it, is going to hit. And what measures need to be taken for a densely populated city like Istanbul in order to strengthen structures that already exist here?
Yeah, but just after the earthquakes in Kahramanmaraş areas, many people, many apartments in Turkey, especially as you said, in bigger parts of Turkey, like mega cities like Istanbul, people were really afraid of some realities. You know, they observed everything on the media, on TV, everything. So they were really frightened by the earthquake reality, although they knew it in, let's say, in 1999. And they started to look for some solutions for their buildings, especially for their apartments. Unfortunately, you know, tomorrow is the first anniversary of the earthquake. So people, unfortunately, again, forgot almost everything. So they started to live their lives regularly. I mean, they forgot the earthquake reality again. So what I would like to add that many buildings, I mean, the buildings typologies are quite similar to the buildings what happened in Kahramanmaraş in that area. About 40 million people lived in that area, you know that. But the building typology is almost the same in big cities. And if we have a big one in this area, unfortunately, the result will be almost the same. So they should retrofit their buildings. I mean, we should be looking for seismic retrofit, which is very economical, also very useful and very easy for most of the buildings. But if the building needs some reconstruction, of course, we should go that way as well.
Professor Celik, we really appreciate you giving us more information about this type of technology and the reconstruction efforts. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.